the narrative commences 3 decades ago in the year 1995. We find ourselves situated in a local known as Oregon, a village nestled within the mountainous terrain of the US state of Oregon, where we encounter a young boy named Blake who resided with his father. His mother had passed away a considerable time ago. Consequently, Blake's father was left with the responsibility of caring for him single-handedly. Blake's father was notably concerned about his upbringing, desiring to instill bravery in him because there was a rumor circulating that a fearsome creature resembling a human was wandering around this vicinity. There was also an attack on Hyder, who had come to these hilly areas for hiking. That's why his dad was always strict about taking care of him. But as for Blake, he had no idea about this because he was just a child and could only see the beauty of the place. He was unaware of the great danger hidden behind this beauty. Similarly, one day Blake's dad took him hunting. There, Blake saw some mushrooms that he liked, so he went over to them. Unaware that the mushrooms were poisonous, Blake began to touch them, and his dad, who knew this, immediately stopped him. They then explain in detail that these mushrooms are poisonous, so don't try to touch them again and stay away from such dangers. However, Blake didn't quite understand these things. He was just lost in the beauty of the place when his dad scolded him, saying, "Use your brain. This place is already very beautiful, but you have no idea how many dangers could be hidden here, so be careful." Just then, a deer appears in front of them, so Dad takes aim to hunt it, but suddenly the deer runs away. Now, Dad's attention was still on the deer. Meanwhile, Blake runs away. He was running in the other direction because he thought he could hunt the deer from there, but through the scope he couldn't see the deer. Instead, he saw a creature that looked like a man, which was completely camouflaged and whose terrifying noises echoed throughout the forest. Blake was terribly frightened by this, and just then Dad came and caught him. This time, they scolded him thoroughly. In a way, they wanted to protect Blake, but the thing to ponder was that Blake himself was confused about whom he should be afraid of and whom he shouldn't. Because if he was afraid of anyone the most, it was his daddy. Dad quickly took him away from there. They both hid in a tree house nearby. Black looked through a dead scope and saw the carcass of the same deer they were about to hunt. The condition of the carcass was very bad. It had been torn apart, which was the work of that creature who had hunted the deer before they could, and now wanted to make them its prey too. Now, Dad also saw that creature, that monster, and as soon as he saw it, he shot at it. But due to missing the target, the creature, he runs away. Blake, who was terribly frightened, asks in fear what that thing was. In the end, Dad lies to him so that he doesn't get scared, saying, "Son, it was just a bear." But later he overhears his dad talking to someone on the phone. Dad was saying that the creature is real. "I encountered it today. My son is in danger from it, so I have to deal with it." Then the story jumps 30 years ahead to the present time, where Black is now a father himself, living with his family in San Francisco. He had a lovely daughter whom Blake loved very much, and like every father, his aim was always to protect his daughter, but not like his dad. He wanted to protect his son as well, but he could never think of behaving with his son the way his dad did. Similarly, Blake's daughter loved him very much too. Whenever her dad was with her, she felt very good and safe. Now here, his daughter starts to get mischievous. While playing, she makes a mistake that could hurt her, and seeing this, Blake loses his control today and he reprimanded his daughter, causing her to start crying. Immediately, Blake thought to himself, "What have I done? I'm behaving just like my father." He swiftly apologized, saying, "I assure you I won't raise my voice at you again, my dear." Their connection was strong. Today, as they engaged in play, she gently touched Blake's forehead and said, "Dad, you're contemplating how much you love me, aren't you?" He smiled warmly and responded, "You're absolutely right, my dear. That's precisely what I'm thinking." Blake's relationship with his daughter was particularly strong because he mostly stayed at home. He was a part-time writer. Speaking of Blake's wife, her name was Charlotte. She worked as a reporter for a news channel. Due to being busy all the time, she couldn't give time to the family. This was the reason there was a gap in their marital relationship, which was evident that neither of them wanted, as Charlotte also loved her family. She wanted to give them time, but despite her best efforts, she couldn't manage it, and she found herself unable to manage it. Blake received a letter indicating that his father, who had vanished many years prior, had passed away. Indeed, 3 decades ago, Blake's father had ventured out to hunt an animal to protect his son's life, but he had been missing ever since. Now the authorities had confirmed this and informed Blake through a letter that it was officially declared his father had died. Although Blake wasn't fond of his father's behavior, receiving this news profoundly shocked him. Reflecting on his father, he thought that they should visit their former home. He wanted to be with his family. He planned a trip and wanted to take Charlotte and their daughter along so that the distances between them could be bridged and everything would be good within the family. When he mentioned this to Charlotte, she agreed. She said, "Yes, I will take leave from work and come on the trip." Because somewhere she also realized her mistake, that she had become too distant from the family and wasn't doing everything a mother should for her daughter, so she felt that she wasn't a good mother. She also tells Blake this, but he reassures her saying, "Don't think like that. You're a very good mother." The very next day, Blake sets off on a trip with his family. To make their lives happier, they had reached their village, but he couldn't find his house. Understandably, he had left this place 30 years ago and it had completely changed. He couldn't figure out the way, and on top of that, the internet was down, so they couldn't even check the map. Then, they saw a man with a gun some distance away at a tree house, and the man had also noticed them. He approached them directly. Observing this, Charlotte became frightened. She said to Blake, "We should leave. He is armed." Blake reassured her, "Do not worry. There's nothing to be so frightened about, because everyone here definitely carries a gun." When the man came closer, it turned out he was Blake's childhood friend. He recognizes Blake and then asks his friend to show him the way. "Please, I can't even find my own home." The friend gets into the car to guide him. As they traveled, it got quite late at night and they were very close to their home. But suddenly, something strange appeared in front of the car, which distracted Blake, and they had a terrible accident because their car overturned. However, the friend, he was frightened. He tried to get out of the car. The car was stuck above. As soon as his friend opened the door, he fell down where an animal attacked him. Meanwhile, the family tried to get out. Charlotte and her daughter managed to get out. But before Blake could, the animal attacked him too, injuring Blake's arm. However, he somehow managed to get out as well. The three of them started running away from the car. In front of them was a house, which was none other than Blake's own. He started running towards the house with his family because the animal was after them. They somehow managed to get inside the house, but it was quite dark, and by now Charlotte and her daughter were completely frightened. Blake first looks for a torch, then uses it to turn on the generator. Then he shines the torch through the window and realizes that the creature has gone. A little later, Charlotte says to him that she is quite confused. She can't understand what it was. To this, Blake replies that he is also astonished by what it could be. He has never seen anything like it before. Whether it is an animal or something else, nobody can understand, Charlotte says. We cannot face that thing. We don't even know how dangerous it could be. That's why we should contact outside and ask for help. Then Blake notices his dad's radio lying nearby and gets an idea. He thinks of setting its frequency to call for help, but the frequency doesn't match, and they can't establish contact outside. Suddenly, something began to happen to Blake. His condition worsened. His teeth started falling out. Blood was coming from his arms where he was injured, and in all this commotion, he had completely forgotten about his injury. Looking at the cut mark, he says it's from the window glass. Charlotte says, "No, it doesn't look like a glass cut. You've been scratched by that animal's claw." Then she bandages Blake and goes to sleep with her daughter. Meanwhile, Blake was busy securing the main door, and at that moment, he heard the loud footsteps of an animal. Despite these loud noises, Charlotte and her daughter were asleep because these sounds were only audible to Blake. Charlotte and her daughter couldn't hear them. Now, Blake tries to find out where the sound is coming from and follows it. The sound was coming from inside the cupboard, which was the sound of a spider crawling, and Blake was quite startled to realize that he could hear it so loudly. The animal that had bitten him, which had been talked about for so many years, was actually a wolf. And now, because of the wolf's bite, Blake was beginning to transform into a wolf himself. Just as human teeth fall out and new ones come in, his teeth were falling out too, as new wolf teeth were emerging. Teeth will come. Likewise, his teeth were falling out as new wolf teeth emerged. His hearing had greatly improved. Clearly, things were strange and scary for him. At one point, it felt to him as if Somehow, she managed to compose herself, and now she takes advantage of this skill. Blake hears the sound of a wolf coming from outside the house as it was nearby, and hearing its sounds, Charlotte also woke up. To listen to the sound, he parked the car right at the door, and the next moment, the wolf broke through the door from below and grabbed Blake's leg, dragging him. Seeing this, Charlotte became very frightened, but seeing her husband in trouble, she took an axe and scared the wolf away. Now, Blake was saved from this wolf, but the wolf's virus, as he was turning into a wolf himself, his transformation was accelerating, and now even normal sounds seemed strange and eerie, leaving him unable to understand anything. Moreover, he had lost the ability to speak like a human. Seeing his condition, Charlotte realized it was a wolf's infection. Blake himself realized that he wasn't going to survive. Out of fear, he lost control of his bladder. Charlotte somehow managed to handle the situation. She brought a pen and paper so Blake could write down what he wanted to say. He wrote dying, meaning I am dying. In response to this, she reassures him, saying, "It's nothing. You'll be fine. You're just unwell." However, clearly, Blake couldn't comprehend Charlotte's words. His vision had changed and he was now seeing things strangely. His hair began to fall out rapidly, making his condition quite dangerous. Seeing her dad in such a state, their daughter became very worried. She asked Charlotte, "Mum, what's happened to Dad?" Charlotte replied, "Nothing. He's just unwell. We'll take him to the doctor in the morning." Just then, Charlotte noticed that blood was oozing from Blake's arm. Seeing this, she sends her daughter away from there. When she removed the bandage, she was shocked because the injured area had completely deteriorated, and now Blake was in so much pain in his injured arms that he started scratching his wound and even began to bite it with his teeth. Seeing this, Charlotte became very frightened. She realized that we don't have time until tomorrow morning. If Blake doesn't get treatment in time, I might lose my husband forever. Then, Charlotte noticed the car parked outside, and she decided to take a considerable risk. Somehow, she managed to get her family into the car, and she started to take them away. But just then, the wolf jumps onto their car. Seeing this, they quickly get out of the car and start running. Nearby, there was a greenhouse. To escape the wolf, they climb onto the greenhouse, while the wolf comes inside and starts staring at the roof of the greenhouse. At one point, their daughter was about to fall through a gap, but she manages to save her just in time. Since this place was not safe for them, Blake signals Charlotte to take their daughter and head towards the house, while he distracts the wolf and leads it to the other side. Taking advantage of this, Charlotte manages to get inside the house with her daughter. A little while later, when Black returned home, he had changed even more. All his hair had fallen out and he had developed wolf-like teeth. He then vomited blood, from which severed wolf fingers emerged. This meant that while fighting, Black had bitten off and swallowed the wolf's fingers. His animalistic side was once again taking over. He realized that soon he would become a danger to his family. He thinks of going away from them, but as soon as he opens the door, a wolf is standing in front of him. The wolf, who had come to take revenge, pounces on Blake and a dangerous fight ensues between the two wolves. Initially, the wolf is overpowering Blake, but then Blake bites the wolf's neck, tearing it completely, which ultimately leads to the wolf's death. Then Blake notices that the wolf has a tattoo on its arm, just like the one his dad had on his arm. This means that this wolf was his dad. In fact, when they went hunting the wolf, his dad got bitten. Someone had turned into a wolf. It was a kind of wolf virus that had now transferred from his dad to Blake. To protect his family from harm, he runs out of the house. Suddenly, he falls outside. He couldn't sit on a chair anymore because his jaw had widened. His teeth had also grown larger. Along with this, his long, dangerous claws had emerged. Moreover, hair had started growing on his body, and he had completely transformed into a wolf man like his dad. His wolf disease had fully manifested, and so he set out to attack his own family. Charlotte also understood that he had turned into a wolf, which was a threat to us. Therefore, this time she decided not to open the door and kept a knife for her protection. However, Blake somehow managed to get inside. And still, somewhere his human form was suppressing his animal instincts because Charlotte and her daughter were right in front of him. Yet he did not attack. Charlotte, perceiving him as a threat, started to strike with the knife while Blake was merely trying to take the knife from her. At that point, Charlotte took her daughter and ran away. They both hid in a barn, and Charlotte noticed a bear trap and decided to use it to protect themselves from Blake. They hid. A little while later, Blake broke down the door of the dam and came inside. It was quite dark in the dam. They thought he couldn't see them, but Blake, with his enhanced vision, could see them clearly, yet he didn't attack. As he moved forward, he got caught in the trap. Taking advantage of this, Charlotte with her daughter tried to escape. To free himself from the trap, he bit his own leg. Then, crawling, he continued to pursue them. The mother and daughter ended up back where it all began. The car was overturned in front of them, and nearby, there was a severed hand of a friend, which Charlotte picked up and hid in the treehouse with her daughter. Morning had already come. Blake had followed them to the treehouse. He climbed up to look at them, but still did nothing. The poor fellow had spent his whole life trying not to become like his dad, meaning he didn't want his daughter to be afraid of him. But today, the poor man was so helpless that his daughter was afraid of him and he couldn't do anything about it. This was something Blake could not tolerate. He didn't want to become like that. And amidst all this, his thoughts. Once again, his daughter reads his mind. She tells Ushala that she sits down, saying that you should finish them off. But the shooting wasn't happening. Even after going, she couldn't fire the gun. Seeing this, Black starts provoking her. Then, unwillingly, Charlotte shoots him and he falls down, looking at the beauty of the place in his final moments, which he used to see as a child. Both mother and daughter come and sit by Blake. Even in his last moments, his daughter reads Blake's mind again. She says, "Dad, you're still thinking the same thing, aren't you?" She loves her family very much. "Is that why you didn't harm us?" Upon hearing this, Black takes his last breath, which makes his daughter realize that finally, Dad's restlessness has ended and he has found peace. Saddened by this, she hugs her mother and starts crying. She was in deep shock. She then begins to move forward from there. Somewhere, she had also accepted that this was what was written in our fate, and upon accepting this, she set out to start a new life. And with this, the story of this film comes to an end.